Alrighty. Happy Friday, everybody. It's a very clear day out today. It is cold as ice. It is a freaking freezer out there. It is disgusting. And it's been that way for the past few days. I am not a fan of the cold, but I would take it over the snow. However, in this particular season, we've had to deal with both. And if I could show you my old man hands, right? These things get chapped like you couldn't possibly imagine. I put cream on them every night, working hands, and every day, because you got to wash your hands, every single day, I bend these puppies and another slit pops off. I get blood all over everything. It's disgusting. I have something like this on my foot. It has been the high today is 15 degrees. It was 7 this morning with a wind chill of -7. I've had these before. Not saying I didn't, but we never had this and the snow we had this week. So I was mentioning this earlier. I was mentioning this last week. They were calling for a massive storm that was going to cover the eastern seaboard and everything. They called for another one Sunday. Well, tomorrow and Sunday. But from what the weather is saying now, it's going to blow out to sea. I'm telling you, it'd work better if you point out to sea. Shut up. So it's blowing out into the ocean. We're not really getting anything here, if we get anything at all. In fact, the more I look at the forecasts on the computer, the less percentage chance we have of anything falling on Saturday or Sunday. Tomorrow's supposed to be clear all day. And the funny thing about it is, a woman said we're in a drought, but then I realized our reservoirs are not here. However, the drought thing is pretty funny, because we have had since November snowfall. We've had to clean off our cars a bunch of times. I've had to shovel a few times. Nothing like what happened Sunday. So I had never, from my imagination, from my remembrance of many years, could I possibly recall a period of time where it was frigid for 8 straight days, 9 straight days, and it snowed and sleeted significantly. The high on Sunday was about 20 degrees. It snowed and sleeted significantly. And because of the fact that there was a state of emergency called, and because of the fact that it was a Sunday and everybody decided to close on Monday, nobody did anything about it until it was too late. The storm started about 5:30 in the morning on Sunday. It ended about 8:30 at night, 9 o'clock maybe. I didn't sleep. I slept about 2.5 hours. I think I dozed off a couple of times. That was it. And the concern I had was the streets. Well, the streets were in terrible shape. Good thing for me, my brand new car that I got in June, the end of June, was able to get through it without a problem. Now, my friend, Frankie Love, he could not get to his job on Monday. So he just called out. Me, I had to be there because I got a text message from my general manager saying that we were closing at 6, which was the second time we closed in 2 weeks, thanks to a water main break. Because when it's 10 fucking degrees out, for the better part of the last 2-3 weeks, pipes tend to freeze. Now, why do pipes freeze? Beats me. They should be built not to do that because, they're pipes. You should have some kind of lining or whatever to make sure that the pipes that go through that's used for drinking water doesn't get corrupted or have filters or whatever. But why pipes freeze doesn't make sense, especially in places like this one where I live, where it can get pretty damn cold. And what really occurred was so brain dead, asinine. And the things I've heard make my eyes roll in the back of my head. I woke up. Well, I was up anyway. I had already shoveled my spot out twice. I shoveled it out. Snow came back. The plows came back. Shoveled it out again. And this was only 20-degree weather. So then I said, I'm going to probably not sleep, but I'll get out of bed by about 2:30, go back out before I eat my breakfast, and just make sure nothing else got thrown on top. Like, well, it did. It did. I had to do it a third time. So 3 times I had to shovel in the freezing cold. I went back to my house, had my breakfast and everything. I left, drove on some of the most treacherous roads I could possibly remember. Got to my job. The parking lot was plowed at one point, but then it was snowed over, sleeted over, and they had to come back like the next day because God forbid we do any work here. I opened up a gym. 2 people showed up. Then another one, maybe about 10, 15 people in the 4.5 hours I was there. I was so tired. I was so hungry. I wanted to go home. And then to make matters better, nobody can get to the club. So I was there late, but I was able to leave. And then came the next bit of an issue, trying to find parking. Because at this point, now everybody wants to come out and start shoveling and everything. And I had to leave my spot. The assholes that plowed the parking lot in the back of my complex decided to put even more snow on the spot that I shoveled. So I shoveled it out again. Parked my car in there and everything. Unfortunately for me, that spot was right by somebody else's driveway. It wasn't in their driveway. It was by their driveway, but that was pretty much where I always park. But I was ready to just roll out on Tuesday morning, get out there, do my thing. No, but Tuesday morning was also frigid. And the people across the street decided to shovel their pathways out and cover my car. I couldn't even get to the back of my car because the snow was covering everything. And now it was rock solid. I was not freaking like I used to do back when I was a kid, but I was pretty angry. And I drove to the gym. I got there. I was able to get my car out and everything. Then the spot was cleaned when I left. Thank you very much. Appreciate it because somebody else took it. And it wasn't really cleaned by that much. It was just cleaner. And I was really fuming, like I had played Overwatch 2, something else I can get into. And when I realized, and I have realized all my life, I just want you all to say this, kids, or all to understand this as I say this to you. Countries are not ideologies. They're not governments. They're certainly not really economies. Countries are people. People make countries. Every country, more or less, has rich people manipulating everything. That's not going to change. Ever since we've become more civilized, we've become more indoctrinated to the concept that rich people have earned everything. It used to be that we would just have the one that slaughters the most people in every bit of combat, especially in Europe, run everything because they had the power of the gods within them. And then it was the person that had the best strategical sense and intelligence level. They were the ones that were treated as powered by the gods and everything. Now it's just if you got money. And it's been generations and generations of Beria. There he is, baby. What's up, Beria? Don't worry, we're going to get to Nintendo. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I promised my friend I would do this. Just give me. So it more or less is that whatever the governments are, the people make the country. Now, well, I'm good now that you're good. I'm better now that you're good. Now, the problem with the United States is it has the worst people on the face of this planet. Nobody here cares about each other. Just to give you an indication, we don't help each other. Nobody stops when you're in trouble. My mother, totally by her fault, pulled her car into a snow pile recently because a truck had to make a left turn down a road that trucks aren't supposed to be making left turns on. She got stuck. Nobody went to help her out. Here, I have a certification in CPR. Before I could help you if you are dying, I have to ask you if I can help you, because if you were to say no, or if I were to injure you, you could sue me. We also have to dial 911 first and hope that the first responders show up sometime in the future. I usually call them third responders because the fire department and police come in before them usually. And typically the first responders, from what I know, are sitting there too busy smoking a joint and looking at their phone to help anybody out. So it's not a place where people really care about one another. And what I saw, the absolute disgrace of the handling of this snow in this snowstorm, it just shows how helpless the United States is. And the way people, they take your spot. And this is the way it's been for years. Don't get me wrong, this is not new. They'll be in a spot. People still haven't even cleaned their cars off. This was a storm on Sunday, this past Sunday. It's Friday, okay? Still haven't moved their cars yet. People don't shovel their sidewalks so you can slip, break your ass all up. They don't care. I had to walk in snow that was up to my shins sometimes just because I wanted to do my cardio. They take your spot, or they pull out of their spots with their gigantic trucks with tires the size of your entire anatomy standing upright, and don't clean off the interior. So now you can't take the spot. We got so many selfish, fat, ugly, useless fucking people here. And you got this reality show TV bullshit propaganda politics, thanks to your president being a reality show television star. No, the president doesn't have any authority. Trump's not going to take over anything. He's a fucking useless pile of shit like all these other rich people. It's just that the mentality that everyone has to be a celebrity now instead of a leader of any kind, it's so widespread. It's disgusting. And then I heard that in an area that's in the Northeast and gets kind of cold and does get snow, which we used to handle here without any issues before. I used to be driving to my job early in the morning and the snow would still be coming down and the plows would have everything clean. Now this is what keeps me up at night. What the hell? Yeah, no, people are spineless. They're just disgusting here. It's just disgusting here. I can't stand this fucking place. And it's like, I used to be driving with the snow still coming down and get to work without a problem. Now, what keeps me up is the idea of what they're going to leave. So I'm glad that from what the weather reports are saying, and they've been saying, this new storm is blowing out to sea, so I don't have to really worry about it. Wouldn't want to live in the Carolinas, but I wouldn't want to live in the Carolinas anyway. I wouldn't want to live anywhere other than where I am if I'm stuck in the United States. Is I want to go home. I want to go back to my home country, but I don't want to move anywhere else in the United States because it is dead, empty space. But what I've also heard was that they're not budgeting here for salting and trucks and everything. In fact, one of my friends who works for the environmental, he works for the county and he does, maintenance, garbage, stuff like that, sanitation. He was saying that the proclamation is that 5 years then, 4 years now, we're not going to have any snow. It's just going to be rain. And I looked at him and kind of gave him a sort of cross expression and asked, that's not that climate change shit, is it? Oh, yeah, no, it's going to be all rain. Yeah, it's fucking 15 degrees out. Now, it's not 4 years from now, but it's 15 degrees out. We still have about 8 inches of snow sitting out there. It's not going anywhere because it's been nothing but frigid for the past few days, several days. What the hell are you talking about with climate change? What are you talking about? So that's a lie. But I found out that they're budgeting as if there is a climate change. And I'm saying, so you're going to use us as hamsters in a laboratory so that you can find a way to pinch pennies and get out of having to let us earn our livelihoods that are miserable shit jobs as they are. This is what it is. So you're cutting back on necessities, essentials, specifically because why? And you're going to make the excuse that it's climate change? Kiss my derriere. Climate change. What a fucking joke. So I wanted to get that out of the way. Yeah, it was a miserable Sunday video. It was a miserable Sunday night. I couldn't sleep. The drive was only done because of the fact that I have an all-wheel drive, brand new car, brand new tires, plowed through everything. It was terrible. But that's that. Yeah, no, it was terrible. But I got there. I may have lost another year off my life because of having to shovel 1,000 times the cold. On Thursday, right? Yesterday, I found the spot I've been eyeballing this whole time because it was dug out pretty well. I got it. I'm keeping that fucking car there until I have to leave on Monday. And now Monday, we're going to have like a heat wave because it's going to go up to 35. Oh my God, 30. Now 35 feels like it's summertime here. It's insane. So I heard through the grapevine that there may be a Nintendo Direct coming up in the next 2 weeks. I'm not sure what Player Essence had to say, but he said something that seems as if it could be mistaken. There may not be a Nintendo Direct. Now, just in case everybody's wondering, Nintendo doesn't have to do anything. I say this all the time. Websites, they will announce things as we go along. There's nothing they have to do. Announce things as we go along. There's nothing they have to do. They're already winning the war, whatever war there was left. It's over. Sony's on its way out. Microsoft's on its way out. No, too many people to think. Somebody said that computer PC gaming is king or whatever. No, PC gaming was never king because PC gaming is for rich kids, and there aren't that many rich kids. What, 30 million people? It's not. See, people understand. PC gaming is not owning a PC. I own a PC. This shit can't play Smite 2. Okay? So you have to have more than just a PC to play PC games. And I laugh at people, like I mentioned, Vidia, whatever, or any of these other influencers that want to make it seem as though Nintendo is too expensive. You will spend more money on a graphics card. Okay? You will spend more money on a graphics card to run. Yeah, no, all I want is an Elden Ring release date. That's all I want. So I can pre-order it. I got the money waiting. I went to GameStop on Wednesday, shitting bricks about whether or not I'd get a parking spot, which I did, and I had to shovel for another 40 minutes. But I got my money in there. It's ready to go. I pre-ordered Pragmata. Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to get that. I pre-ordered Pragmata. I'm going to find out whether or not it is Capcom's answer to Donkey Kong Bonanza. I have Resident Evil Requiem and the other two. By the way, these are not really rumors. They're more or less verified. Nintendo a package, probably. Most likely a package. And if they re-release Code Veronica, for all of you guys, because I love Resident Evil more or less, and I love all of you, I would play a re-release of Code Veronica. As I've said before, everything Capcom releases from this point on will be on the Switch 2. That's not a rumor, that's a fact. The only thing that they're doing, so let me explain to you how this works. Nintendo or Sony or Microsoft or whoever has a gaming platform, the way it works is, especially if you're somebody like Nintendo who rules the roost, what you do is the Switch 2 was in production for years. It didn't just get shit out overnight. It's not like Civilization 7 when you're trying to win a game that it doesn't want you to and they just shit out units. Well, hey, listen, more From Software is good for me as long as it's Miyazaki. Dustbloods is going to be completely different, and it won't be the only one. If it's a success, there'll be more. That's a fact. There will be more collaborations between Nintendo and From Software if this works. I don't think so. There will be a delay. No, it's not really a delay. It would be late this year, probably. That's something I've heard. Probably around November. Late this year, probably. Probably around November, which is fine. I wouldn't mind a near Christmas, or not Christmas, a near Halloween release because I like the spooky. Yeah, it's going to probably be the end of the year. From what I've heard, Elden Ring is most likely going to be released sometime in about 2 months, maybe April. Dustbloods might be the end of this year, middle end of this year. Most likely, as I said, about November, somewhere around there. When that happens, you all got to get on with me. It's just the way it is. Because what I've heard about the gameplay and everything, it's not Night Rain. Night Rain is a precursor to Dustbloods. So like I was saying, so Nintendo was releasing this. Companies that they've had collaborations with, Capcom, Bandai Namco, Larian, CD Projekt Red, they would get the inside skinny on, by the way, we've got this new thing. We've got developer kits if you're interested. They would get the developer kits and then they would port their games or make future games or both for that Switch 2. And whenever they were ready, Nintendo would have their partners meetings and you have your Nintendo Direct. Dustbloods, from what is that you have different clans. Those characters that you see in the one trailer that we have, which, by the way, it's all online. There are battles, and it's kind of like it gives you achievements or goals that you have to meet. And there are different clans. Now, you can customize the characters. You can customize them. But you've got the Dracula types, the vampiric types. You've got the ones that can transmutate themselves into like dinosaurs and shit. You've got the magical type ones. Like, you have different types, different clans. And you choose a clan, and then you more or less go online in a session, and you take on certain tasks. You can fight each other, but there'll be like a boss, for instance, in one of these, and you get together with your clan and you fight the boss. You can go against one another. It's a type. It really is just about dominance over these different lands and the different areas and everything like that. The developers are really excited about this, and they've said they can only do this on the Switch 2. So we're going to get more information. I don't know if there is a Nintendo Direct coming up in the next week or two. And if there is, I don't know if they're going to have more. There may be, because it is a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive that Nintendo has invested in, there may be, guys, I survived. We survived. It was nasty. It was terrible. The United States success. Nobody knows how to take care of business here. And I had to drive over snow virtually the whole time, but my car got through it. Why does this feel like it's low? And as I was saying to everybody else, especially Beria, there was talk of another storm. Let me just double check something. There's a talk of another storm coming up the coast. Warming trend over the next 2 days. A warming trend from 14 degrees with a wind chill of -7. Yeah, it's been horrendous. We have cold weather advisories still, okay? I haven't had a winter like this in years. But yeah, as this is saying, as of right now, it is saying that Sunday, the highest percentage chance of any precipitation is 2. I think we're good. Now, why do you have to say it was 75? Why do you have to say that to me? You know that hurts me. When I'm sitting here at 14 degrees, my hands are splitting. But we do have a 35-degree day. Yeah, so they were saying 1 to 3 inches Sunday. Until Sunday passes and I don't see anything, I won't feel like we didn't get anything. We're really not supposed to get anything on Sunday anymore, which I'm like, thank you. And I found out that our reservoir is not even close to where I live. So this woman was saying, oh, we've got this drought going on. I'm like, drought? What are you talking about? It hasn't stopped snowing. We just got 8 inches. Oh, no, but there's a drought. The reservoirs. Okay, where are the reservoirs? Are they in the neighborhood? Because if not, then yeah, then what am I going to do about that? So, yeah, so like I was saying, guys, you got to get Dustbloods and you got to get on with Maria and me, because if you don't, I'm going to track you down. I'm going to make you get Dustbloods. But, so the Nintendo Direct that was announced, here are some things that I've heard. Okay? Tell me what you think. If there is a Nintendo Direct, they're going to announce a 3D Mario and a 3D Zelda. We all know about that. What's also most likely going to get announced soon to make it official is that Resident Evils 2, 3, 4 may come out. The re-releases may come out on the Switch 2 in a package sometime down the road. Not anytime soon because they're going to have the Requiem 7 and 8 or Village and Biohazard Village. That will come soon. That'll come next month. It's about not even a month from now. So they're probably not going to announce it coming out anytime soon, but there will be re-releases of those games. Monster Hunter Wilds, maybe, most likely there will be. That's not really a rumor. That's more or less a fact. It depends on whether or not they think it's going to make money. That's what matters. But because of the fact that the Switch 2 has outsold every single console, physically only, we're not even talking about the online sales, every single console, it has outsold every single console in the United States and in Japan by a lot. Especially the Japanese companies like Capcom, like Bandai Namco. They're starting to really look into Square Enix as well. They're going to really look into porting their old games and releasing their new ones on the Switch 2 day one. So that's something you have to take into consideration. This Direct may announce officially that Square Enix is going to release the next two parts of Final Fantasy VII's remake. I don't give a fuck. Final Fantasy sucks. It's funny because I saw somebody on Facebook saying, I'm not sure what the big deal about this is. I've only fought a couple of times and it's just why mashing it. I go, yeah, welcome to Final Fantasy. It's terrible. The only reason to play Final Fantasy VII, there are several. Tifa, Aerith, Madame M, and a few other women. Jessie too. Jessie was voiced over by Celica from Shadows of Valencia and the Fire Emblem Warriors games and Engage. Same voiceover. And she played Misty in Cyberpunk because they have like 10 voiceover actresses and actors do all the voices now. Especially the Japanese games. They reuse the same people over and over again. Haven't heard my beloved Christina V in a while, though. That I have to tell you, I have not heard in a while. So that will be announced. Yeah, no, it's trash. It's dog shit. It's dog shit. I did a video years ago about how the Final Fantasy series is just overrated. And I said last week, I've said so many times, 13 got the most heat. And people that complain about 13, I'm going, okay, first of all, to complain about the storyline in Final Fantasy is to complain that, you know, the sun comes up and burns your eyes. It's like, yeah, well, duh. Every Final Fantasy story is dumb shit. It's an empire against rebels. It's, you know, it's whatever. It's the same stupid thing over and over again. But the combat system in 13 was so good. It was so different. And it worked out great. And you talk about, because they used to say, oh, you just walk this narrow path and blah, blah, blah. There's no exploration. There was a place called the Wilds or whatever, what was it? Grand Pulse. That's what it was called. Grand Pulse. What a name. And in it, you could just run around, roam, and fight monstrosities and everything. Divinity's coming out. I'm not sure if they're going to announce it in an upcoming Direct. But most likely they will announce soon, one way or another, that Divinity will be released on the Switch 2. Baldur's Gate 3 might be announced in Nintendo Direct. They're saying the possibility of Metaphor ReFantasio, which I can take a look at because it's Atlas and Sega, who have made one of my favorite series in Shin Megami Tensei. They've made one of my most unfavorite series in Persona. But they still did make Shin Megami Tensei. I do love their art styles. I do love their ladies. They have a couple of nice-looking elven women and a fairy in that game as well. That one is apparently going to be announced soon, as is possibly Expedition 33, Claire Obscure. Stellar Blade might be getting announced pretty soon. Lies of P, I haven't heard anything about lately. I don't know if I want to do that. Lies of P, I haven't heard anything about lately. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know. as I mentioned before, Dark Souls-like games, Bloodborne games, they're only worth it if it's directed by Miyazaki. There's just something about it. So for those of you that are, oh yeah, no, Shin Megami Tensei 5 is fucking amazing. I'm not as big as into Vengeance as I was the original one, because the original one was just so fucking great. Original one was one of the greatest video games I have ever played, and the reason is because it was initially a Switch 1 exclusive. So it was Japanese centric, which meant they didn't pull punches. They didn't try to make it a movie. Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, it puts too much emphasis and effort into, hey, what's this person's motivation? I don't give a fuck. You're not what's important. What's important is the game. It's my character choosing how the world continues. That's all that's important. And that's all Shin Megami Tensei has ever been. The characters representing order, chaos, they were there not to be the story. They were there to give you reason to go one way or another. But we all know the real reason, to get every demon and to see all the endings. But yeah, no, the original version was so fucking great. So fucking great. And the music was like, I didn't really, there were a couple of new songs from Vengeance that I thought were okay, but not like the original. The original, wow. But the announcement of that is a possibility. There was also something teased about the slight possibility that a Sony exclusive could be announced. Which one would that be? Now, they were mentioning something about Halo. We all know that Halo sooner or later is coming on the Switch too. I don't care. Okay, I don't care. That's just for the sake of like a Modern Warfare game. Yeah, there's one coming out on the Switch too. It's going to be exclusive to it. Don't care. No thanks. Only a few first-person shooters work. Most of them are Metroid Prime. Other than that, it's just the same shit over and over again. I don't mind Doom, though. There is a chance that Dark Ages, we all knew that Dark Ages was coming out on the Switch 2 one way or another. Sooner or later, that was going to happen. I was surprised it didn't come out day one. But because of their relationship with id or ID Software, and because of the fact that the other two Doom games are on the Switch 1, most likely, yeah, you're probably right. You know what it is? It's because the big sell of Call of Duty is the online multiplayer, killing each other. Killing computer characters is really not a big deal, and you really need to see a full screen on that. But the what was it? Was the okay? So Sony exclusive. The idea of a Sony exclusive coming on the Switch 2 has been teased. Yeah, that's a possibility. Helldiver might be coming out on the Switch 2. That's a possibility. But the one that interested me was the possibility of a Bloodborne re-release on the Switch 2. I'm telling you, kids, From Software and Nintendo have just gotten started. They have just gotten started. Like, who is it that makes Gearbox makes Borderlands, right? I'm not wrong about that, right? I'm bad with names. I'm pretty sure it's Gearbox. They have released pretty much every Borderlands game on the Switch 2, or in the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. It's called the Handsome Jack package or whatever it is. But more From Software games will be coming on the Switch 2. It all depends on whether or not there's an audience, because Nintendo audiences are broader. Microsoft and Sony shot themselves in the foot with their attempt to be like, hey, we're for adults. Yeah, whatever. You're not for adults. Your games are shit. You're for children. You're for teenagers that think that blood and curses and darkness is real and serious and everything else. That's going to get that got pushed back. That might get an announcement, as well as the release of Fallout 4 on the Switch 2. But Borderlands 4 got pushed back because they might be doing something exclusively with the Switch 2 or doing something down the road. Whether or not you want it, that's up to you. But I'm just telling you that there will be a lot more presence of From Software on the Switch 2. I am predicting that good job, guys. You see, I have the smartest subscribers. My subscribers are cultured, brilliant. That's why they're my subscribers. And we're only 47 away from 800 kids. Let's get to 800. Come on, we can do this. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. See, it says mate. See, his name's Gaius. Great character from Fire Emblem Awakening, by the way. But yeah, so those rumors, I'm predicting that Dark Souls 2 and 3 will be re-released on the Switch 2. I'm predicting that possibly, if it can make money. I don't know. They may be older, but as I was saying, there's a broader audience that doesn't really know about Dark Souls and stuff like that that are Nintendo fans. So it's kind of like they want to get them. Duskbloods and Elden Ring can get people that are Nintendo only, Nintendo centric fans, better acclimated with From Software games and Miyazaki. I've been saying this for so long. It really is a natural collaboration. From Software is Japanese centric. Nintendo is king in Japan. Miyazaki said that he was a big Ocarina of Time fan. He always wanted to make games like that. So it just seemed like if Nintendo had the hardware, which it does, From Software was coming. And like I said, they have their own exclusives. Nintendo is not like Sony or Microsoft. If Duskbloods, this Bloober Team's exclusive, if these work, there will be more. Nintendo will keep giving you more. That's just how it is. So we'll see. We'll see what that leads to. But yeah, I'm believing Bloodborne might be coming out on the Switch too. That is just my rumor. It was teased because I don't believe that Horizon Zero Dawn, which is another shit first-person shooter it's actually a third-person shooter by Sony. I played it. I don't like games, and there shouldn't be games because they're games that give you a little bit of gameplay to get to a whole lot of storyline. A little bit of like, hey, a changed mechanic. Hit this button. Okay, now hit it then, hit that time. There should just be gameplay. Like, for instance, the difference between Final Fantasy VII Intergrade. Yeah, Dark Souls 1 was re-released on the Switch 1 years ago. And it was harder than I remembered. It was really hard. You can watch my Let's Play of it on my gaming channel. It did happen. It was re-released on other consoles as well. I'm also wondering if Demon Souls might not be released. We might get every From Software game. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But I believe sooner or later, Tales of Arise is supposed to be announced because there was talk of that being ported. As I mentioned, Code Vein 2, I don't know if there's going to be an audience for that in general, much less for Nintendo audiences. I do believe, well, we know that a Tekken game is coming out on the Switch too. If that's going to be announced, I don't know. I think that, well, Season 4, yeah, Code Vein 2, I think, has come out already. You would think you would. But when you do take a closer look at it, it is pretty much, we need a new Suda 51. We need new Grasshopper Suda 51. And we need a new Suda 51. We need new Grasshopper Suda 51. And we need a new Punch-Out. I'm going to keep saying that. I want Nintendo to come out and say, we're not giving you another Punch-Out. We need another Punch-Out. That was also rumored, by the way. Another Punch-Out game. That would be interesting. I would buy that shit. I'd eat it. I'd sleep with it. I would do everything with that Punch. I've been longing for a new Punch-Out game since the one that was released on the Wii, which I loved, by the way. That Punch-Out was awesome. Punch-Out is awesome. Punch-Out's just great. Come on. Who doesn't love Punch-Out? Especially when you're playing as Little Mac. I would love for a Punch-Out to give you the ability to become Gigamac. That would be hilarious. But it would probably be too easy. But yeah, new 3D Mario, new 3D Zelda. They were talking about the next Metroid. Yeah, no, we do. We need a new Punch-Out. They were talking about the next Metroid. That will not be announced yet. That might not be announced until next year. Did I mention Grand Theft Auto 6 might be getting announced? Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be announced on the Switch 2's release. Witcher 4. No, there will be. There will be. Like I was getting to that point before. Because Doom has been released many times on many Nintendo consoles, Dark Ages is being worked on. Nintendo is not screwing around with these re-releases, guys. We're not going to have another Bloodstain. We're going to have another Bloodstain game, but we're not going to have another Bloodstain release. The frame rates on that, even I was complaining about. And I love that game. It's a beautiful game, but it was just too much lag. We're not going to... Nintendo is on top of this shit now. When it comes to the Switch 2, they are making sure that their ports are top-notch. Yeah, probably. Who knows? It will be. It will be most likely be day one. But whether or not it's going to be announced soon is another story. I don't believe they're going to announce anything about Pokemon, but there will be most likely an announcement for the Splatoon spinoff. More information about that on this new Direct, possibly. But yeah, like I said, I mean, it gets exciting now, guys. Now, a lot of these games, just for the sake of validation for me, because I wouldn't play a lot of them. Lies of P, if the price is right. Stellar Blade, yeah, she's nice to look at, but I don't know, man. I can't play a stupid version of Bayonetta. I just can't. I can play Bayonetta, though. You know what I want to do? I want to get Darksiders back. Apparently, Darksiders is done, which is a shame. We did have that game where you played as both Strife and War, and that was fun. But apparently, that's it. I do want to get all those games back, though. I want to see how they play on the Switch, too. I heard that Darksiders 3, which I was not a big fan of. I did love Fury, though. Dear God, did I love her. But I heard that it plays a lot better on the Switch, too. But Baldur's Gate 3 could be getting announced soon. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a Nintendo Direct. Yeah, the last one that was released was pretty good. But I don't know if they're going to make another one. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a Nintendo Direct. You can see it down the road. You can see it on the websites. But, yeah, that's pretty much what's going on with the rumors for the Nintendo Direct. Whether or not there is going to be one this coming week or next week or whatever, that's up to be decided. Yeah, that's what I heard. When I got back into it, I didn't mind it, to be fair. Yeah, I was going to pull that one where I was like, oh, it's just like Dark Souls and everything. And it is. There's a lot of Dark Souls parallels and everything. You see, the problem that I have is Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, it's not so much that they're hard. Like, yeah, there are boss fights that are bitch. Don't get me wrong. And sometimes you have to fight them at least 12, 13, 20 different instances. But when you do get them, when you do understand their weaknesses and everything, you can easily overtake them. That's what's interesting. There is progression in those games. There is progression. That's the thing that I like. That's what I do not like about online competitive games, especially when you play competitive, because you lose progression and you can't get it back. No, Gaius, you're speaking my language, man. You don't even want to know what I did to my case for Dark Souls 3. It was so bad, I had to give them like just a regular CD sleeve when I traded it in because I mangled that thing. And you're 1,000% right. Whenever you lose your souls, your blood echoes and everything, it drives you crazy because you lose progression. But I'm telling you that if you have the patience, if you go through it, you'll note that you do get better and you do get a better idea as to what the characters. And really, that's what it is. You do get a better idea how to fight the bosses and everything, but then you can try out different ways. I'm telling you, it's only the Miyazaki ones. Only the Miyazaki ones. Not the wannabes. Those are, yeah, most of those are shit. But just the Miyazaki ones. There's something about it. I can't explain it to you. Can't explain it to you. Like Bandai Namco has tried to make that on their own. They can't do it. Nobody can do it. It's just him. I can't explain it to you. I'm telling you right now, you can watch me play through all of them, except for Sekiro and Elden Ring, which you will be able to whenever we get an idea as to when Elden Ring is being released. Once again, Nintendo went to From Software and said, you got to do better than that. And From Software is doing that. So when you see me play, and I think Elden Ring would be a lot better for everybody because there are so many freaking enemies that you could just over level yourself like a son of a bitch and fight a boss, let him hit you and be like, whatever. But really, it is maddening. And the people that try to emulate it, it's maddening as well. But I'm telling you, if you watch me play through those games, Bloodborne, though, is probably the best out of all of them from what I've played. I never played Sekiro, I never played Elden Ring. Duskwatch will most likely be the best From Software game, but that's just because it's Nintendo. But when it comes to those games, Bloodborne was great. And it's a Sony exclusive. It's on PC too, but I'm pretty sure it is. Let me just double check. Whenever I go to... No. Hold on. One thing. Whenever I go to check something out, I always see like the what's popular today. No, Dick, go over here. And I see this picture of Sydney Sweeney. God, I love this woman. Fine. Let's just see. No, it seems like it's just an emulation. All right. Yeah, it's not just okay. It's just an emulation. I was wrong. So that one is still a. Could you imagine it? Could you imagine if From Software said to Sony, "We're going to port this on the Switch too"? Just watch. You can watch me play through it, and you can hear me freak out and scream and yell and be a lunatic and whatever. So you just get a better idea. You don't have to play them, but like it's funny because when Elden Ring first came out, due to the popularity of From Software and the hype and everything, it sold more copies than any From Software game had ever sold at that point. And then there was all this talk about how hard the game was. I was like, yeah, it's From Software, bro. When you've never played a From Software game before, yeah, it's quite an adjustment. It just that's the thing I like about From Software games. It just throws you out there. Have fun. Enjoy. Sometimes I give you little messages as to how to play the game physically, but go to it. Yeah, I give you a little bit of a cutscene. The Elden Ring cutscene in the beginning is very long compared to the other ones, but they just tell you, okay, here's the world you're in. Let us know how it goes, all right? And then it's it. It's all on you. And there's a little bit of a tutorial area. There's a little bit of a safe zone and whatever, but for the most part, it's just have at it. So that's what I like. I like the fact that it doesn't try to bog you down in storyline. You can skip the dialogue. The only cutscenes really are boss cutscenes, which take about a second. It's not trying to be a movie. Because as I mentioned before, since it got most of its ideas, since Miyazaki got most of his ideas from Zelda games, you go to an area and the architecture gives you the story. You don't need somebody to explain